Alright guys, here we are with a new episode. Today we can finally work on the Ferrari again. We're super hyped and we noticed that you guys really enjoy it too, which gives us an extra energy boost. In this episode, we're going to do everything we can to start the car. We haven't heard the car yet, but the previous owner promised us that the car should just start. We can't start the car since it's been sitting for 2 years. In this episode, we'll drain the engine oil and replace it with new oil. We'll flush it for a bit and see if the car will start, because that's obviously a very important component if we want to move forward with this car. What we know about the engine is that there was a company before us that did some research and also dismantled the exhaust. As you can see, we're missing a pretty big component here called the exhaust. So we're going to reinstall this first before we try to start the car. Of course, we want to get the purest possible sound from the car so we can properly assess everything in terms of sound, vibrations, resonance, and especially ticking noises. But one thing, why is there so much oil here? Is that normal? And why do those caps come off so easily? Not good.
Here we go. It's time to get our hands dirty. First, we pushed the car forward, jacked it up, and set it on stands. You don't want a car falling on you while you're underneath. After that, we started by removing the wheels, because without taking off the wheels, the rear bumper will never come off. And check this out, these wheel bolts are super long. We've never seen anything like this before.
But it could really use some detailing. The brake pads need to be replaced, actually the brake discs too, but that's not the most important thing, guys. First, we need to check if the engine is in good condition. That's what we're assuming, right? It's going to be quite a journey. Let's go. To be able to reinstall the original Ferrari exhaust, the rear bumper has to be removed first. In our case, it's held on by 2 nuts, which makes our job easier. Here, I'm looking for 2 lambda sensors. These weren't in the catalytic converters, but luckily they were present and had just been tucked away under the air filter housing. Here, I was busy gathering all the gaskets, bolts, and nuts for our exhaust system. These had also been ordered by the previous company, and that of course makes our job easier because we don't have to work with rusty parts. Once I saw how the catalytic converters needed to be positioned, my little brother came to assist me with mounting the exhaust, and it went pretty smoothly. After that, it was time for the lambda sensors, and once those were secured, we could continue with the muffler. Once the muffler was in place, it was really just a matter of tightening everything, including a huge bracket that actually held the muffler. You'll see it in a moment, it's this one. Once we had this in place, everything was tightened. Quite a lot of rust and corrosion came off, as you can see, and after that it was time for the trim pieces. On the trim pieces you can see a vacuum valve system on the top side. This valve system was rusted stuck. On both sides I first had to get them moving again, since you just want a working exhaust system. It's now time to get fresh fuel and a new battery for the Ferrari, because those are 2 essential things to be able to start the Ferrari soon, and that's what we're going to do now. Let's go. We immediately got in the car to drive to our favorite parts shop, and there they basically just sold us a store brand battery for a really good deal. And I also bought a new oil drain pan, because this one can hold 15 liters of oil at once, so we don't have to mess around with different pans anymore. Of course, we always fill up our gasoline vehicles with 98. 95 is just a no-go, and you really need 98 in a car like a Ferrari to get the best combustion. Alright guys, it's a new day here. I'm really excited, because since we bought this beast, we haven't heard it run yet. Before starting it, we'll drain the engine oil. Because 2 years ago, when the car was put away, a garage found that there was a lot of moisture in the oil, and after that the oil was immediately changed. But since we don't know if there's enough oil in the car, we're just gonna change it again. And we're also gonna check ourselves if there's still any moisture in the oil. We want to diagnose that in our own way by using an engine flush, putting in new oil, and adding new gasoline. So what we're going to do now is drain the engine oil, and I'm really curious to see what kind of oil comes out, whether moisture comes out first and then the oil. Or if it's just like a slushy, or of course if it's completely clean, because that's possible too, so we're going to drain it now. Let's go. And then I slide our new drip tray under the Ferrari. First I checked which Allen key I needed. It's a size 10 and a size 12 Allen key. And here I'm struggling to actually loosen the first drain plug. It was really stuck, and after I finally got it loose, chocolate milk basically came out.
So while Daniel has opened the first drain plug, which according to Don has actually never been opened before, at least definitely not 2 years ago. At the previous garage, and the car was basically just put away, we're going.
This one, however, has been opened since it's very clean, and I see a new copper washer.
Because here it really says motori olio, and on the other one it says scarico olio.
Yes.
This way, we're also learning Italian, while scarico olio actually means oil plug or oil drain, drain plug. How do you loosen this, Don?
Yeah, these came off really smoothly. This is what it looks like. It's really kind of sludgy.
I've seen this before, in cars. When you take off the oil cap, it's kind of like mustard.
There's mustard on the oil cap, but this one doesn't have that kind of oil cap. Still, I think we should flush the engine with a special engine flush.
Yeah, this one, so you'll put this in later. Once the car has been running and it's at operating temperature, you add this and then you basically drain it. And then, if all goes well, this will have removed all the dirt from the engine. Now we're going to screw the oil pan plugs back in. Once all the oil has dripped out, we'll fill it up with clean oil and we'll also empty the fuel tank. If we manage that, otherwise we'll just add fresh fuel. Then we'll start it up and see if it runs and if it stays at the right temperature. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes.
It's time to install our new battery, but first, of course, the old one has to come out. And since we've never done this on a Ferrari before, I first took a good look at how to do it, because you definitely don't want to break anything on a Ferrari. Once the battery was out, I placed it next to the other one, just to compare if they were about the same size, and as you can see, they are. So it could finally be reinstalled, and we can continue working on the Ferrari. Now that the battery is installed, I'm really curious to see if the roof works, because again, we haven't seen this one working yet. We've been told everything works, so we're just gonna see if it actually opens.
Look, it's working! This is sick. So it was all just about the battery voltage. Sick! And just like that, you suddenly have a spider, guys. Wow, it's a completely different car. Yeah, man, you really have to see this from the outside, Don. Should we just leave it open too?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Very sick. Look how sick that butt suddenly looks now. That all of this can happen because of a battery. We just measured the other battery. It was 13.6 volts. You'd just say that's enough voltage. But I think every time you power it up, that's a peak. The battery actually dips so much that it caused a malfunction. But Ferraris are just known for battery issues.
I'll quickly check without the car to see if the drain plug is tight, since it would be a shame if you pour it in and it leaks out. Also, check out our beautiful interior. It's time to put the wheels back on the car, and then we can lower it again, because that's the only way you can measure the correct oil level. Of course, you don't want to overfill the car, so we start by putting in 8.5 liters of oil. Then you start it, let it warm up, and if it's still necessary, you top it off. Alright, we just filled the engine oil with 8.5 liters, and from now on we can start the car. Once it's at operating temperature, we'll top it up. Of course, you never want to overfill it because that's just not good for the engine. On the other hand, I'm surprised by the amount that came out. And often you guys are the experts in the comments, so let us know what you think of that color and what our next steps should be. I think it's pretty good for a second change, I don't know.
In a really short time.
In a really short time, yeah. He actually barely ran, he only idled a bit at their workshop, and now we're already taking it out again. I'm just curious what the oil will look like when we take it out again later.
We're going to pour the oil back into the old oil can now, and then at least we'll know the amount. Look, if more than 10 liters comes out, that could indicate an internal leak or that the garage filled it incorrectly before.
We just started putting the old used oil back into the oil can right away, just to measure how much came out of the car. You can imagine we've gotten quite a craving for Chocomel. I'm also here in the engine bay, pulling all the ignition coil connectors off the coils, because we're about to start the car without actually letting it run. Now it's also time to refill the gasoline. Usually the gas cap is attached to the car with a small cord, but ours broke off. They considered you might lose your gas cap, so you can store it in the fuel door. With the Lamborghini that wasn't possible, so you would always lose your fuel cap if you just put it somewhere else. Right now, we're refilling with new gasoline for better combustion. Alright guys, I think the moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. As I just mentioned, we're not going to start the car yet. We're only going to build up oil pressure. I checked the coolant level. It's fine. Now we'll let it turn over for a while, which is new since we haven't heard that yet. The well-known Ferrari starter immobilizer.
What does the fuel gauge say? Indeed, it shows half a tank.
And that's the oil pressure gauge.
What does it show?
That it's open. It says the tailgate is open.
We're still not getting oil pressure, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Stop for a moment. We have a little bit of oil pressure.
It also seems to have good compression.
Yeah, it sounds steady.
One more time. Yeah, now it's clearly going up, look. So.
Looks good. I'm gonna do it one more time.
Sounds good, I have to say. So far, I don't hear any strange noises. Just nice and loud. It's running steady. So, now?
Really, man? You don't want this as a Ferrari owner, do you?
Always needing to open that door from outside. Now put all the ignition coil connectors back in place and then it's time to fire them up. Let's go.
Okay guys, all the ignition coil connectors are on. Time to start the Ferrari for the first time in 2 years.
It worked! Yay! But did you turn it off?
No.
Did it turn off by itself?
Yes, but I also didn't keep the gas on.
Okay, one more time. It turned off by itself. I have to say, it's a bit strange that it stalls, but it hasn't run in 2 years, right? By the way, this is such a Ferrari trait, right, Don?
Yeah?
Yeah, that if a Ferrari, at least this model, hasn't run for a long time, it needs to start up 3 or 4 times before it really stays on.
So yeah.
Oh yo, this thing sounds crazy, and are you doing something or not?
Yeah, I give it some gas, but I also get a flashing engine light, and I don't think it's running on all cylinders.
It really smells like fuel, a lot, but I don't see any leaks, Don.
No leaks.
No, I would just let it run for a bit.
Yeah?
Without using any gas or similar actions. You do hear a strange sound, right? Like it's knocking or something. A backfire, like the injection isn't working properly, or a spark plug isn't firing right. You know, it's not pumping along, it does smell like gasoline, so it's not igniting everything properly or optimally. I don't know.
What immediately stands out to me now, so I'm feeling at the exhaust, I notice that the right side is really nice and warm, and I can just hold the left side. That means it's on the left side, cylinders 5 through 8. So one of those just isn't working properly. Well, we figured out that it starts, which is a good sign. And now we also know that the left side isn't functioning properly. So that's something we'll investigate in the next episode, where it's coming from. I know they've installed new spark plugs, so it's possible that one of them is broken. We could also measure the compression. There's still a lot of things we can investigate, but unfortunately that won't be in this episode. We'll let all of this sink in for now. Share your thoughts on our chocolate milk in the comments. Does how it came out of the engine worry you? Maybe it's just from sitting unused and needs a proper flush. So let us know and tell us what you think is going on with our Ferrari, because we have a lot of experts in the comments. Give us a thumbs up if you think this is an awesome project. I'm totally hyped that the Ferrari even started up. The roof has been open, so that's super nice, so we just have the Ferrari in the workshop. How awesome is that? Stay tuned, because there's a new project coming up, another project. I won't say too much about it yet, but it's going to be insane, guys. So,